Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Pensabene with Beachway Therapy Center, and I have Christine with me from South Florida, who is a Beachway alumni who has been out of the program for over a year. And she is joining us here today to share her story. She really wants to tell you about her life and hoping that it reaches somebody out there that's listening that also is struggling with alcohol or drug addiction. So, Christine, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Glad to be here.
Is it hot down there in Florida?
Great.
Okay,
Always hot down here.
I know. That's what I hear. So we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. I was going to ask you some few questions because we just find it so powerful right now to hear from alumni and hear their story. So can you just share with me a little bit about the struggle that you had with alcohol and how bad did it get?
Well, I started drinking around 15 years old. And it was just a lot of times just for fun, weekends partying. And it slowly progressed over the years. And I found that I started drinking more when I had stress in my life. My anxiety was just over the top, my depression. I don't know why I felt that way. I couldn't quite identify why. I just know that drinking made it go away very temporarily, to only to wake up the next day and feel miserable again. A couple of things happened in my lifetime. I was diagnosed with cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, when I was 40, and I was told I had to have chemo and radiation. And it was a scary, scary thing for me. And the insanity of the whole thing was that after my doctor told me I was going to lose my hair and never have my period again, or I was going to feel terrible, my next question was, can I drink alcohol with the chemo? I mean, that's the insanity of it all. And it got to a point where the cancer kept coming back, and my doctors, I went to MD Anderson for treatment. They had a trial treatment that would really resolve it once and for all, but my liver was too sick to get the treatment from the drinking. And my husband was just like, what are you doing? Why? You're killing yourself. Why are you drinking? And I just couldn't answer that. And then, it got really out of hand, when COVID hit, and it was just like an all day affair. First thing in the morning, all the way up until I went to bed at night, blacking out every night, not remembering what I said, trying to pick up the pieces of maybe what had happened, and dreading the conversation with my husband, like, him saying, I can't believe you acted like that, or you did that last night. And my marriage was really struggling and hanging on by a thread. And then it got to a point where I knew I wanted help, but I was so afraid to get it because I am in the medical profession. I'm a nurse anesthetist, and I deal with very, very strong drugs, and the patients are in my care, like their life is in my care. And if people know that you have a drinking or drug problem, it could really, ruin your profession, and I could lose my license. And I just didn't know how to go about it, but I wanted it so bad, up until I was forced to let my boss know, because I had called her one night very, very, very drunk. I don't remember anything I said to her. And whatever she heard, she knew I needed help. So that was the turning point for me. I knew that things weren't getting better. Drinking was not fun. It made me feel absolutely horrible, and I couldn't stop. So a friend of mine who's in, mental health in that profession, she had recommended Beachway to me, which was an inpatient center. And I thought I was just going to go there to detox from the alcohol, but it was so much more when I got there. They told me, I could never drink again, like, because it's just, once you have this disease, and that's what it is, it's a definite disease. It's hard to go back to drinking, casually. And that was a wake up call for me. But we also did, therapy sessions. We learned different communication skills, did a lot of meditation and yoga, and we did an AA meeting every week. And that was my introduction into AA.
I just want to stop you right there because I think there's so many people out there who are thinking to themselves, I don't know if I can stop for the rest of my life because it is a disease and it is something that you can't just do casually once you make that commitment. And so what would love to hear you share is what is your life like now? Because you've made the commitment to get help and also continuing to use all the tools that you received to continue your help. What is your life now from where you were a year and a half ago?
I mean, it's incredible. My life has never been this good. And I know a lot of people say, well, I'll go to treatment when I get that job that I'm looking for, when my husband and I stop fighting every day, when I get through this, whatever, this crash, that I had when I was drinking, and all that has to be in place before I get help. And that's not the case. Nothing is going to get better until you get help. And miraculously, it falls into place. Everything that I wanted to happen in my life started happening because I was sober. I mean, my attitude on life, that my interactions with people, my job I mean, I've excelled at my job. I mean, all these things started happening, and I thought, this is the way I want to live. I like this. And you see other people who are sober that became sober through, treatment and AA and things like that. And they have a certain glow about them, and you just want it so bad. You want what they have. And it's just, once you start getting a little taste of things, having a good life, it's motivating for me to keep at it and
And what's
try.
your relationship with your family and your workplace now that you have been sober?
It's amazing. I mean, people that don't know that I went to treatment, they kept it very quiet. I didn't get reported, so that fear I had of losing my job didn't exist. Everybody has problems. I mean, people in the medical profession have problems. It's a very common thing that I didn't realize. I mean, I was in treatment with doctors and lawyers and all kinds of people, it goes from everywhere from the park bench to Park Avenue. I mean, it doesn't discriminate. So it was accepted by my boss, and my family saw a change in me. And even people that didn't know I went to treatment just said, you look different. You look good. Your eyes are glowing. I wasn't puffy and bloated. I got proper sleep at night, like real sleep. I hadn't had that in 20 years of heavy drinking. And I'm more productive with my day. Like at some point I stopped showering. I stopped brushing my teeth. I stopped doing my hair. I just didn't care. And now I have my routine every day where I get up, I brush my teeth, I wash my hair, I get dressed, even if I'm not going anywhere. And the depression, was existing before the drinking. And so they did put me on some antidepressants, which work very well. And I just don't do any mind altering substances, which they say is a good thing to do when you get out, because even though alcohol was my main problem, sometimes you turn to other things, to feed that craving. But the mental obsession of drinking is gone. It would be the first thing I thought of when I woke up in the morning, and it was the last thing I thought of when I went to bed. And every moment of the day, I thought, where am I going to get my next drink? That's the mental obsession. And that's the part that we fear the most. But that mental obsession is gone. And I do owe it to Beachway. I mean, I didn't think I was going to turn out this well, but I did.
You can tell from your smile that it is transformed your life. And I know there's people out there that are feeling depressed and sad. I mean, it's been a tough year and a half for a lot of people. And you give people hope. You give people hope that they can get help, and they can start feeling good again, start having that glow in their eyes. I love that. And really be able to make a change. And let me just ask you one last thing before we jump off. If you had to mention maybe one or two tools that you learned from Beachway, that you have now brought into your life? So you said it's been about a year and a half since you've been there. What have been some tools that really have worked for you? Because people may be listening, may be thinking about going into treatment, but there's also people that are listening that have left treatment. So I would love to kind of help them and share with them, since you have, done so well, what has been a couple of things that have worked for you?
Well, you're sober in treatment because that's where you are. The hard part is getting out and getting into the real world and dealing with real life problems and the stuff that you were dealing with before you went into treatment. One of the things that is monumental in my recovery is talking with other alcoholics. And that's the AA program. We're all struggling. We all have different journeys, different histories, but we all share that one thing in common. And it's comforting to know that you're not alone. It's comforting to know that other people got up and thought about alcohol all day long until they went to bed. There's other people that black out every time they drink. I mean, it's not me. And so it started to make me feel like, okay, so this is really a disease and this is something that we need to share with other people. And aside from going to meetings every day, AA meetings, I share my story like right now. And that does something for me. I mean, I hope I'm helping other people, but it makes me feel good. And that's what it's all about, So, I mean, I think it's something that I have to work on for, the rest of my life because, we have the disease and it will try to creep back in. They say it's powerful, cunning. I can't think of the last one, but it's tricky and it tries to get into your life again. And if you're not participating in your sobriety all the time, it can sneak in. And so just talking with other alcoholics, doing a lot of reading, with different books. And what else am I doing? I'm just doing good things for me to make me feel good. Exercise, meditating. Those are things. I do pray every morning. I was not a prayer before, but now that I'm working this program, I do pray every day. And that helps me.
Well, what you're doing is working, and sharing your story. I know it helps you, but it also helps so many other people. And I know everybody at Beachway is smiling right now because they are thinking to see you, because they probably haven't seen you in a year. To see how well you're doing is just amazing. So thank you for taking the time to join us, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to help.